Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Show with Coach Tommy Ties. This is a highlights of the Huntsville Eagles and the Harrison Goblins, where the Goblins won to finish the season 5-5. Coach Tommy Ties is here with me. We're going to go over play-by-play of the game and the highlights of it a little bit later on. But, Coach, it's hard to believe. You had forewarned me when we started that this is going to go by real quickly, and it's hard to believe it's over. It's Week 10, and the season is complete. We'll look at things for next year, and some of the kids on your team will be moving on to the winter sports to play basketball. But it's hard to believe it's over.
You know, dread this time every year. You don't want to give them up. You know, we spend so much time together, laugh together, cry together. You get close. You build strong relationships with team members and assistant coaches and fans, and it does. It flies by. And it just gets over too quickly. Was very glad that our team got to go out on a high note. A tough ball game with Huntsville, who has a very fine football team, as we had seen them play Alma right down to the end, and certainly led Morrilton into the fourth quarter, and got ahead of us in the ball game. Cody Stevens, or Clint, I get them mixed up. They're twins. I think it's Cody, but you know, he's a great quarterback. As we'll see in the film, he can hit what he looks at. One of the best passers that we'd played against all year long. Sean Furr, an outstanding receiver. And they just spread the ball around a lot. Had about 250 yards passing, but we stopped the run. And if you can stop the run, most of the time you're going to win. And we shut down the run. I thought the defensive secondary did a good job. I think he hit about 30 out of 50, something like that, which is really, really good. But, you know, they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. We picked off, a couple of passes, turned the ball over a little bit, and played the kicking game very well. Had a few wrinkles in the onside kick game, and just kept the pressure on them most of the night. And I thought we just did a heck of a job. I'm really glad to be able to send our seniors out on a high note. We found ourselves in a bad situation.
Right.
For the playoffs, the season ended the week before. Well, what are you going to do? Well, sometimes men find themselves in tough situations. You know, I got to believe that other people have been in a lot tougher situations than we were. I think Davy Crockett at the Alamo was in a really tough bind. And I always remind the team the story about the three men that the end of the world was coming, and they were talking about what they were going to do. And one of them said, well, he was going to church and pray. The other one said, well, he was going to the saloon and get drunk. And the third one said, well, I'm going to finish the game. And that's the choice we had to make. We had to make the choice to finish the game and react to it like men react to hard times, because hard times don't last.
Right. You know. And I thought it was a good win. It was a little cold night. We've had great weather all year. Last week, growing up north, we played in that in October. It wasn't too bad. For those of us doing the broadcast up on top of the press box, the wind was a little cool up there. But we had great weather. It was a nice way to go out. Goblins showed up with great pride. Jeremy Johnson played fantastic both ways.
He
did some things that we talked about in the broadcast when he was playing cornerback. A couple times when they tried to throw that little fly pattern, and he kind of just was in perfect position. Either was going to catch it out of bounds or was incomplete or intercepted if it was short. And he did that, and Mikey did it a little later in the second half, saw some things that were really good. And the other thing I really want to compliment you on, Coach, maturity of Tate Stokes. He's been fantastic. We talked about this when from the scrimmage game of Batesville to what we saw last Friday night it was a mature level of what he has grown up right in front of us, and look for big and better things for him next year.
Well, certainly he, Tate's confidence level has soared, dramatically. And we saw in Tate the ability to beat people not only with his arm but with his feet. In the ball game the other night, he had over 100 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing. And he has that ability, and now he has the confidence that he knows he can take on any defense and be successful. And he still turned the ball over one time, and we'd like to, get that down to zero, and I know he would too. But he has advanced as a quarterback, basically with no experience coming in, except what he got last spring. And he's done a really good job, just an excellent job. And, we look for big things out of him in the future.
The other one I want to compliment you on is Colton Spears has really come on. He is like a Mack truck out there. I mean, last week he in the game at home in the final game he hit that guy at the goal line. He had some big hits again at Huntsville. Boy, he's a hitter, boy. He's one that you just put his head down and does what he needs to do.
Well, no, don't put his head down.
Well,
he keeps his head up. He sees what he hits, but he does a good job. He plays hard. And now he's another one that's, we knew we were going to start him from last spring. Came out last spring and really impressed the coaches with his hustle and ability to make plays. And now he has that confidence. I remember after the Alma ball game where he'd missed a tackle on Isaac McCoy and he was very down. And I told him, I said, hey, there's going to be a lot more opportunities for you. You can't worry about it. You got to keep your head up, keep playing. And he finished the season real strong. I remember at Morrilton, the last 4 snaps of the ball game, where Morrilton was trying to come back and go ahead. Colton made the tackle on 4 straight plays. And then the other night he was just everywhere. And he's also a very good running back, and that's going to be a dilemma for us because we're going to have to play him on both sides of the ball next year. But he'll be stronger. He's just 15 years old, and he's one of the better defensive backs, I think, in the conference right now.
Real excited about things for next year. Let's talk a little bit about the kicking game. John Colliver got quite a bit of field goal attempts. We had the one bad snap where Brooksy tried to get it down, and we kind of missed to botch that field goal attempt. Everything else looked good. He could have hit from 50 with some of those kicks were huge. The onside kick, and I want you to interpret the rule. We tried to talk about it. We did 3 onside kicks during the game. The first one, which went up with little I don't even know how you call that,
We call that a sky kick.
A little sky kick. And Dalton Lovell went up, grabbed it out of the air, and I guess there's a rule in high school football.
High school football, it has to hit the ground.
Okay.
And, I don't know if we'd covered it with Dalton or not because we weren't we were going to kick it farther down the field. I had set up, I told John, I said, I'm going to set up on the 30-yard line. You kick that thing to me. Well, they went a little short, and Dalton caught it in the air, which was a great heads-up play on Dalton's part. And I want to tell you something. In 1984, 7 times we sky kicked against Mountain Homes, and 7 times we caught it in the air. And I knew we couldn't catch it in the air, but the referees didn't know it.
Oh.
And my good friend Bob Bird, who was an assistant coach at Mountain Home at that time, took the rule book out of his pocket and tried to show it to him. But, officials don't want to see that. So I knew from 1984 you couldn't catch it in the air. But great hustle play by our kickoff team. Good kicks by John. Got the ball right where we needed to get it. We had a penalty on one where the ball went out of bounds. Then we had a dead ball foul. I think they administered that penalty wrong because the ball went out of bounds. The ball became dead when it went out of bounds. They flagged us for the ball not to go in 10. Oh, we kicked it out of bounds.
Right, kicked out of bounds.
And then somebody nailed Clark Pryor right in the back after the whistle had blown. So I felt like, and I know y'all did for listening to the broadcast, the ball should have been 1st and 25 at that point. But didn't happen. So anyway, but a lot of those things are confusing. And of course, I'm really trying to help them get it right over there. I wanted them to get that 1st and 25 because I wanted Stevens to have to go 25 yards for a first down. But we did have an excellent kicking game. Next year's kicking game, Spears is a good kicker.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Where do we go next year?
Well, Spears is a good kicker. Boyd is a fine kicker coming up from junior high. We got all our punters back. Deep snapper, we've got to replace our deep snapper. Jeremy Johnson is a great deep snapper. And we'll work on that over the winter and all spring long. And Trey Holtby can step in there. And he, Trey's a good person. He's going to work hard at getting it done. And if you need a job done, give it to Trey, But kicking game will be in good hands. And, because, like I say, Spears has kicked off for the JV team all year long. Boyd kicks off for the 9th grade team. And every now and then, you think, Boyd's got a blue foot because that thing can knock that thing out of the park now. So feel like the kicking game's going to be in good hands.
The thing that we were made a little reference to, and I wasn't trying to be funny about it, but you can go to football game after football game, and something unique happens all the time. But their kicker hit their upright twice.
Yeah, a different one.
Yeah. and that was the amazing thing. We were talking about that. I says, you could go weeks and you go all season without hitting the upright. Now you're going to hit it twice in one night.
First time you kicked it, hit the right upright. The second time you kicked it, hit the left upright. But now I'm going to tell you, and these are the way coaches are, that wasn't the kicker's fault. That was the pressure that Colton Spears was putting on the kicker, And it's just how you spin things. But Colton did put, he's good at that, too. Mm-hmm. His timing's really good. He's blocked a kicker, too, this year and put some pressure on the kicker the other night. And, kind of helped him hit those uprights, I hope.
Well, Coach, let's take a short break. We come back, we'll look at the highlights of the first half and get your input on what goes on, because that first half was first quarter, probably the first 23 minutes of the game was kind of slow, and then we had all the scoring in that last minute. But we'll be right back.